the Woodpreneur Podcast, where sawmill owners and lumber entrepreneurs grow their businesses. Every week, real stories from the timber industry, whether you're starting small or running a big operation. Subscribe for real stories and insights from the industry.
Hello, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Woodpreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Alger, and today I have with me a fellow urban wood producer out in Nashville, Dave Puncochar from Good Wood Nashville. Welcome, Dave. Yeah. So, Dave, tell me a little bit about your background. What did you do before you got into the lumber business?
I've done sales or teaching most of my life. I always was no stranger to construction and renovations, and which kind of exposed me to wood and lumber on a small scale. But really, I've just always found myself working with people. Really enjoy teaching. Really enjoy. I have a creative side, so always enjoyed just being exposed to art and the creative side of woodworking. I was able to take some woodworking classes at Tennessee Tech through the Appalachian Center for Craft,
Oh, cool.
and it was really, really just rewarding. It was very fun, and they had a great program. And so, yeah, that's a little bit of my background.
So, what did you
Yeah,
teach?
I was a Spanish teacher, believe it or not.
Oh,
I
really?
majored in Spanish, fell in love with the language, and became a teacher. I only taught for 2 years, so then I went back to sales. I like people, but I hate grading papers, so I'm
Oh,
not very good
got
at
it,
that.
got it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, do you get much chance to speak Spanish in Nashville?
All the time. There's so many
Really?
Hispanics, so
Okay,
many Latinos that the construction industry is just filled with people that speak Spanish. I have
okay.
friends who speak Spanish, and it's been great because I
Yeah.
sell lumber, and so a lot of clients who come into my into Goodwood Nashville, they speak Spanish, and so
Oh, for sure.
having the
Yeah.
ability to connect with them has been great.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I could see that. So that's your background. What was the start of Goodwood Nashville? What was the thought behind that, and how did you get going?
I didn't have a business plan. I started it sort of by accident. I was fixing up a 100-year-old house, and I was looking for 100-year-old floors that turned out to be old growth poplar.
Okay.
And the search for it, I had a 4-hour territory around Nashville. And so I would wear a suit every day. I was a pharmaceutical sales rep immediately
Okay.
before starting Goodwood. So I just started Goodwood as a hobby because when I was searching for wood for my floors, I was exposed to the world of old wood. And
Okay.
I looked at reclaimed, I looked at old trees, old growth trees, and I was just really exposed to the whole world of old wood and found the wood to be super beautiful.
Mm,
But getting it was very frustrating. It was just a really frustrating experience where I think the people who worked in the world of old wood, they didn't have to give customer service because they were just selling wood you know, on Craigslist at the time, which would
right.
equivalent now be Facebook Marketplace, so to speak. But,
Yeah.
it
Take it
just,
or leave it. Yeah.
take it or leave it. And if you drive up, I felt like if I drove up in my suit, I got one price, and if I drove up in my
Mm,
old pickup truck on a Saturday in my jeans, I'd get a better price. And I just thought, I just didn't like it. So
yeah.
somebody told me, they said, "Oh, you started your business. You have a spite business." I go, "What?" They go, "Yeah, you have a spite business. You were frustrated and you started your business out of spite." I was like, "Yeah, kind of. I guess so. I did not appreciate how I was treated. And I started
Yeah.
my company out of a bit of, yeah, I just thought it could be done better.
Yeah.
Um,
A
I
need. You
had
saw a gap and you wanted to
I
help.
saw a gap. Yeah, I did. I saw a gap. I saw
Yeah.
a need, and I love the beauty of we supply new wood and reclaimed, but like the old wood
Mhm.
is just it's beautiful, and that's kind of why I called it good wood. The old
Yeah.
adage that they don't make it like they used to. Just the
Now,
old stuff is the good stuff.
yeah. So are both sides of your business, is it all called Goodwood Nashville? Or do
So
you separate the two?
that's a great question. So I did just recently undergo a separation, but not under new wood or old wood or reclaimed wood. So Goodwood Nashville is the lumber side and the supply side. So we sell
Okay.
and supply reclaimed lumber, barn wood, reclaimed flooring. So we take old wood and make new floors.
Right.
beams, mantles. So all the old stuff as well as new lumber, like dimensional walnut, white oak, red oak, maple,
Got it.
just for every woodworker. The
Okay.
side that we split actually, Jennifer, was the woodworking. So over the years, people came to us for custom woodworking because of our
Mm-hmm.
lumber. So we developed a very high-end luxury brand, a high level of craftsmanship, I should say, of bespoke woodworking. And
Mm-hmm.
that we actually just split off. So
Oh,
I
okay.
named that division EW Carpenter. And if anyone's out here listening who loves old hand tools, EW Carpenter was a legend in the world of old hand tools. He had a few patents on hand planes. He worked in the 1800s in Lancaster County, and he happens to be my fourth great grandfather. So we named the wood shop
Okay.
after him. Of
That's
course,
neat. I love that.
carpenter's in the name, so it made sense. You know, Good Wood does wood, and carpenter does carpentry.
Got it. Okay.
That's kind of how we broke it up.
All right. All right. Cool. Well, that's fascinating. But all the wood sales are under Good Wood Nashville.
That's right. The wood sales, we sawmill for people. We have a
Yeah.
woodwiser, we have a Lucas mill, we have a kiln.
Mhm.
So Good
Great.
Wood does the lumber and the urban wood and the
Mhm.
drying and the selling.
Yeah. So where are you sourcing your logs?
We get them from all over the place. Most of our wood comes from about 100 miles. We're pretty regional. Tennessee has
Oh,
a lot
great.
of great hardwoods.
So
And now, if I
local
need
wood. I love it.
yeah, a lot of local. If I need Douglas fir, I got to call you out in the Pacific Northwest. But
Right.
other than that, it's really a lot local. So, uh, as far as the logs go, I work with a lot of arborists nearby who, when they take down trees, they know that if they're large enough that we'll take them on donation because there's so much. Every blue moon will give people a little bit of money for like a walnut or a white oak, but most of the time it's just a donation or it's a program we call Root to Table where someone has a tree and they want us to build them a piece of furniture from it. So Goodwood will take their log and mill it on our sawmills and then air dry it and then kiln dry it and then hand it off to EW Carpenter, our sister company who does the woodworking, and that they'll build a custom piece. It might be an interior, like heirloom piece, like a dining room table. It could be an outdoor bench. I will tell you one story that I thought was really sweet. A gentleman picked up an acorn off of a golf course in Nashville, planted it outside his house,
Hmm.
moved next door, or planted it at his neighbor's house next door. The people I'm working for had to take the tree down and it tore them up because the man was very attached to this tree that he planted from an acorn
Right.
probably 70 years ago.
Hmm.
And the family hired me. They had to take the tree down. They hired me to take the tree, and we're going to build this gentleman an outdoor bench to put kind of near where the tree was in his yard.
Yeah. I love that.
That's one of the sweetest neighbors I've ever heard of to be willing to do that. But I just
Right.
really captures the story, the heart of what we try to do. And when people have a
Right.
sentimental tree, we try to give it
Mhm.
another life.
Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that. That's why I was excited to get to interview you today because that is right up my alley. I absolutely love the backstory and I wish everyone did that. That's amazing. So you mill everything from log all the way through to lumber and you do everything except for your reclaimed from deconstruction. Would that be correct?
That's right. I don't tear down barns anymore. I did that a little bit when I started 13 years ago. I realized that
Mhm.
that's a whole different skill set, whole different tool set, whole different machine set. And I'm almost 50 and my back does not appreciate tearing down barns. It's that is a very, very hard job to do.
But you're
So
still
I
doing
buy
reclaimed flooring? You're still reclaiming
yes,
flooring and
yes.
yeah.
We
Okay.
still do reclaim flooring. We do reclaim lumber. I just don't tear down the barns. I
You just
prefer
don't
to
do the
buy from people
demo.
who do
Yeah.
the demo, yes, and prep
That's
the
what
wood.
we
Yes,
do
ma'am.
now. We used to do the whole thing, and I was like, "No, that's not our game." So
It's a lot
I
of
hear
work.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're right about the different tool set and then the weight. It's just another business altogether.
It's a whole
And there's
different
great
business.
people for that. So
Yeah, and they
we'll
love
dig
doing
into
it.
it.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. So how long has Goodwood been in business?
13 years. So my son's
13
13. We were buying
years.
a house because we were expanding the family. And so Goodwood's about always going to be the same age as my son. So we started in 2012 in my garage. I started selling wood. And after I figured out the flooring that I needed for the old house, I started
Mhm.
buying the barn wood and selling it on Craigslist.
Oh,
And
nice.
I just started it in my garage. I figure if Steve Jobs and Bill Gates can do the garage start, I figured
Hewlett
I
Packard,
don't.
all the big ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody. So I'll just
Yeah.
do that. Yeah,
There you
exactly.
go. There you go.
So
I
that's
love
what
it.
that's what I did. Just although it did feel like a drug deal, I would tell people, go to this bar, go up the alley,
Knock 3
pump
times.
twice. I'll come out, I'll open my garage door, and it didn't feel like a drug deal. And after a while, I was like, I probably need a warehouse where people can find me, and so that was the next step. Was a public
How
venue of a warehouse.
how long was that?
It was probably 6 or 8 months of people and then people would come to the front door. Of course, I had a bunch of kids. There's just toys everywhere,
Right.
where people would walk through the yard and have to dodge my dog's gifts in the
Landmines.
backyard. And I'm just like, this is awkward. Um,
Right.
yeah, but yeah, it worked though. People loved it,
Yeah, it
and
worked.
the
Yeah.
community was supportive. I live in East
Good.
Nashville, which is a very entrepreneurial, creative part of Nashville,
Mhm.
and everyone was very supportive. So it
Yeah.
just I got to partner with people who were not only doing their home projects, but then guys and ladies who were building out restaurants and
Mm.
designing new spaces for the public,
Good.
designing new offices, new conference rooms, and just it's been a
Great.
fun journey, especially here in Nashville.
Good. Yeah, good, good. So when you've got into your first building, are you in the same building you started in, or did you kind of transition up?
So I'm in my third, and I'm about to move to my fourth. So it went from garage
Mm,
to old warehouse to a building I bought in Nashville, and now my wife and I bought a new building that's going to be bigger for the lumber.
mhm.
So yeah, we're actually going to be going and expanding into our fourth, not four locations like at the same time, but
Right.
we're going to our fourth location, which will
Because you're
be a
upgrading.
mile. We're upgrading. We have about a 15,000 square foot warehouse with about 2.5 acres, and we're a
Great.
mile from downtown Nashville, which is just
That's
we
great.
found we found a unique property. We went all in on it. We bought the property, and I mortgaged my children's futures on it. And maybe they'll go to
They'll
college,
thank
maybe
you
they
for
won't.
it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
They'll thank you for it someday. You took a
Let's
chance.
hope.
Good
Let's
for
hope.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm excited.
congratulations. That's
And it's
exciting.
flat. And if you run a sawmill, what's good about this is the whole thing's flat. So we can
Nice.
sawmill, we can move wood. We're not going up hills, and it's just so nice.
Nice, nice. I love it. Well,
Thanks.
congratulations on that. So, when you first started, was it you doing the milling and the drying and the table building or furniture building, or did you have people right off,
You
or how
know,
how did that look?
because I started this when I had a day job, it was really a hobby. I wore a suit, and so I would tear down wood and then hire people to help me tear down my first barn. Or a
Right.
friend of mine, one of my customers came and said, "Can you just build me a table?" And I said, "Sure," but I had a day job, and I did not have a wood shop. I knew how to do some woodworking, but real basic, rudimentary stuff. So
Mhm.
immediately and early on, I really kind of, without realizing it, started a habit of not being the guy that sells the muffins and bakes the muffins, so to speak. So I
Mhm.
started hiring my friends who were woodworkers and said,
There you go.
"Hey, can you build me a table?" So before I got woodworking employees, I just used woodworking, I guess, subs, really, guys who
Mhm.
could build for me, and that really helped me, like, just took the pressure off of growing a business. I didn't have a lot of, it
Right.
kept my overhead low. The guys were happy for the work. I was happy. I knew they did great work because I knew them, and
Right.
just from selling them lumber and knowing them from the woodworking world.
Good.
And so that worked out well. And then I started hiring employees, and one of my main employees came to me and he's like, "I want to become a master craftsman," which is why he interviewed with me. And he knew that we built furniture also. And so he was self-taught, and he did an awesome job. He would basically, he would help people when they came in, and then when he didn't have a customer, he would be building furniture for customers. And
Mhm.
really, it was just that was our business model. So if you're there, you help customers, and if there's no customers, you're a producer. You did something, whether you're
Right.
prepping mantles or reclaimed wood or building furniture. So we've always
Great.
grown slowly that way.
I love it. I love it. That's great. So what's your favorite story for your entire career with Goodwood Nashville? What's your favorite story of that time?
Great question. That's a great question. The simple answer is being able to take my family into like restaurants and the Nashville Zoo, like being a part of the community. I would think would be the simple answer of like
Mhm.
being able to take my kids and my family into a restaurant and say like, let's look at what we helped them do. Look at what we installed or look at what we did. And they like,
Yeah.
when they were younger, they're like, Dad, this is good wood, or Dad, we're in a restaurant. This is bad wood, isn't it? This is not your wood. I'm like, no, it's
This is
not my
bad.
wood. Like they could tell it's cheap or tables with cracks and crumbs all
It's
filling
not real
the
wood. Yeah.
cracks. Yeah. I would say that's the short answer, but I would say I'm really proud of after the tornado hit Nashville and hit my own house. We came together. Two things happened after the tornado that was coupled with COVID for us because they were both in March of 2020.
Hmm.
Um, the we did save a lot of trees that were down, and I'm really proud of that. We turned a lot of those into lumber and furniture, and we still have a lot of slabs for that that we sell. And then the other thing that we did that I'm most proud of is I think when COVID hit, and this was the tornado was March 3rd, and for us, Nashville sort of shut down around March 10th, March 12th from COVID, and
Right.
so here we were about 10 days later, and the world just kind of stopped. And I know everyone listening to this will remember that time, but everything stopped. All my jobs stopped. I had about $200,000 in retail related or hospitality related big projects, and they all called and canceled.
Ooh.
I thought I was going to go bankrupt. Many of my customers like ran restaurants. They were worried about going bankrupt. And I called one of my guys. I wanted to help. I was also really worried and focused on myself, and I was really nervous about losing everything I had because, again, I had bought this building. How can I pay the rent? How can I pay my people? And none
Yeah.
of us had the answers. And so I was really focused on myself, really stressed. And I called a friend of mine who runs restaurants, who's one of our best clients. We've done a lot of projects with them. They're called Edley's Barbecue here in Nashville. So Will Newman was a friend of mine. I called him. I go, "How are you doing? I'm just curious how you're." Because I'm not doing well, man. I have to lay off like 85% of my employees right now. And he was just devastated. And and so through that, me and my team came up with this idea of Nashville Strong, where a friend of mine had come up with a graphic design logo of Nashville Strong after like friends were helping each other with the tornado. So we
Hmm.
decided, well, why don't we make Nashville Strong signs? Why don't we sell them? And why don't we donate half, not the proceeds, but just
Hmm.
a flat half to anyone they want. So it could be Edley's Barbecue. It could be the Nashville Zoo. It could be your dog walker who now's unemployed. And so we sold
Right.
these signs all over Nashville called the Nashville Strong signs. And we let people donate it to anybody they wanted to. It was a logistical administrative nightmare. I mean, it was hilarious, but I was really proud that we got our heads out of our butts. I got my head out of my butt during that time and really focused on
Hmm.
helping others. And it's really, I think it's what we're made for. And I have to say that
Absolutely.
like when I got my head out of my ass, I and could really focus on helping others. That's actually when that's when I actually could assess the situation with clarity and
Mhm.
be working about myself. It was a gift to me because um I felt like I had a sense of purpose of like all
Yeah.
my guys were now building these signs. The byproduct was it gave work to my crew and we could separate and all spread out over the building and build these things safely and 6 feet apart, blah, blah, blah. And really I was just really happy to be able to help Will and his
Right.
employees and really everybody. I think we sold like 50 or $60,000 of signs and gave away
Oh,
half of
wow.
it.
That's
And
amazing.
and I would write this little note like, "Hey, you probably don't know why you're getting a check in the mail, but your friend bought this thing. We're doing this thing called Nashville Strong. We're Good Wood Nashville." I mean, because I would call people and say, "I need your address to send you a check," and people were like, thought I was a scammer, and they're like, "I'm not giving you my address." I'm like, "No, your friend Susie Johnson picked you for
That's
Nashville
amazing.
Strong." They're like, "This is a scam. I'm not giving you my address." I'm like, "I don't know what to tell you." So it was funny. I didn't have a lot of people treat me like I was a scammer, but But my kids, like we would go to work in the daytime and then at night we'd spread out the kitchen table with checks I had to write to people, and we'd stuff envelopes with a little check for somebody and a little note about why we were sending it.
I
It was
love
really
that you
sweet.
brought your kids into that, because so many
Oh, they
times
helped me.
adults do
Yeah.
something, kids do something. It's like, no, no, no. Do it together. Give them a purpose. Give them a
Mhm.
reason why,
Yeah.
that you're right. That is why we're here, to help others. That's when
Yeah.
we're at our best. And
That's
that's
when we're at our best.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I
Yeah.
was really
And
proud of that
honestly, that's when
season.
we're the happiest, and
Yeah.
happier
Yeah.
to give than
100%.
receive.
100%. That's when I was the happiest. I mean, just being
Yeah.
able to focus on other people
Yeah.
and, and, and yeah, it was just, that was probably one of my proudest things. And it had a season. And so we don't sell the Nashville Strong signs anymore. We just, it was a seasonal thing, and
Right.
it was just wonderful. It was
It served
probably
a
my
purpose
proudest
for its
moment.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. I
Yeah.
love that story. So, on the flip side of that, has it all been sunshine and roses since you started, or is there this major obstacle where you just thought, "Oh my goodness, I'm ready to throw in the towel. I'm done." Tell me, what was your biggest issue or obstacle that you had to overcome to keep growing?
It is, I think hiring and firing is the hardest thing where, sometimes I look at people who worked for me, and in some senses, it's great. I've had a lot of people come through the doors. As a business owner, I also have to sometimes make hard calls, and if people aren't a good fit, I have to let them go. It's just excruciating.
It is.
And as a business owner, I can feel like I have failed. How did I hire? Did I not train them? What did I do wrong? Um, it just feels awful. And so
Yeah.
then if you have a series of bad hires, or if you have to let a few people go, especially if the economy contracts, like right now, I feel like we're still kind of facing a bit of a recession personally. And if the numbers aren't there, you got to shrink the team. Otherwise, you go
Right.
bankrupt, and then nobody
Right.
benefits. And so that's been so hard for me. You just have to be, I don't want to say you have to be cold and ruthless, but you have to be able to make hard decisions and say, I have to let you go. And those conversations, awful. They never get better.
No.
And I hate them. So I would
Yeah.
say that's the hardest thing. When times are good and we're busy, and you've got plenty of cash flow, you can kind of put up with a lot of different things, and maybe employees who aren't doing things excellently, there's a little more grace. You can put up with a little more, and they can put up a little more. But when the times are slower and money's a lot tighter, you just don't have the ability to keep people who aren't A players.
Right.
And so that's just really hard, because people might think
It
they're an
is.
A player, and then you have to say, unfortunately, you're not an A player. I have to
Yeah.
let you go. And I would say that's been 100% the hardest thing. And I don't have a playbook. Like, I started this in my garage. We do reclaimed lumber. Like, I don't have a warehouse full of plywood. I'm not 84 lumber. I'm not Home Depot. I don't have a playbook. I don't have billions of dollars in credit. It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true. And actually, about I think 4 weeks ago, we had, because hiring was always my biggest thing, hiring, time management, and profit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hiring and staffing together. And actually, so I don't know if you listen to the podcast, but go back 4 weeks. My husband, who is actually also our business consultant, has flipped the script on how we hire. Oh my goodness, night and day, night and
Okay.
day.
All right. I'll listen to it.
So yeah, it's are they hungry? Are they humble? Are they smart? And he even sat in with some interviews with me. It changed my hiring. We're doing more
Yeah.
with less now. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but anyways, we'll get back to your story.
Hungry, humble, smart. I mean, humble means teachable and coachable. And
Exactly.
I just had to lay somebody off, and I told this person about it several times. I was like, you're not coachable.
Yeah.
And like, if really at the end of the day, if somebody's coachable and wants to be a learner, I can
Mhm.
they can learn so much. And if
They're
they're
hungry, they want it, they
Yeah,
have to want
that's
it.
right.
He taught
Yeah,
me how to look for that in the interview process
that's cool.
and avoid getting into situations because you really like somebody who's missing one of those. It's
Yeah.
really, really good. So
All right,
check
I'll
check
take
it
it out.
check it out if you wanna kinda change that up a little bit. So you've been growing these last 13 years. What are some of the things that you've done for marketing? What would you attribute to your success?
So, one of the things that I always do is I wear my swag just everywhere. Like I got my Buffalo check and, I'm sure I probably have a Goodwood t-shirt. I have an EW Carpenter t-shirt underneath.
Oh, there you go.
But I love telling the good word of Goodwood, and I network a lot. And so for marketing, for 10 years, I would post every morning on Instagram and Facebook. We built a
Mhm.
big following. We got hacked about 3 years ago, and I lost my entire account.
Oh,
That was a
no.
bummer. So I really struggled to reconnect with people. 15 years ago or 13 years ago when I started Instagram, I felt like it was easier to build a community, and I feel like it's a lot harder now. There's a lot more
Yeah,
noise.
there is.
And so my goal is a lot of what we do has spread by word of mouth. Builders know us. They send their clients to
Mhm.
Goodwood Nashville. Oh, you want a mantle with character? You should go to Goodwood because they're going to have real beams, not things that are fake or look new, made to look old. So
Yeah.
we have enjoyed 13 years by being in business for 13 years. And when I started my company, I said, I want to give good service. I want to do what I say, and I want to have good prices. And so by just focusing on those three things, I feel like we've developed a good reputation where people
Yeah.
know Goodwood is, I'm not the cheapest in town, but I'm
Mhm.
good. We show up when we say we're going to show up, and we, we honor our word. We do what we say. So
That's great.
I feel like that has our level of craftsmanship. One of our core values is over communicate. Like because of
Mhm.
that, we try really hard. I think the community has supported us because of that.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah. So you're right there in your community. You're living in your community. You're getting repeat business. You're getting um, that or that referral, that word of mouth. That is a
Hmm.
bummer about your Instagram page because our business comes from Instagram and Facebook.
I know.
Almost,
I know.
and of course the repeat business and the referrals and all of that, but
Right.
so much of it comes from that. Are you're back on Instagram and you're back on Facebook now. Tell
We are.
everybody how they'll find you, how they can
Oh, thanks.
start
Yeah.
following you.
So at Goodwood Nashville and at EW Carpenter will be us on Instagram.
And
Facebook's
that's
the same.
EW Carpenter,
EW Carpenter. Yep. That stands for Emmanuel Wilder Carpenter.
your
EW,
fourth
like
great grandpa.
my fourth great granddad. And I will say, if anyone's listening, since this is the Woodpreneur, I can't even say it, network,
Woodpreneur.
Woodpreneur is Facebook and Instagram. They control who they show your stuff to.
Mhm.
So it's really important to get your customers' data, their phone numbers, their emails, their addresses, because
Absolutely.
you might lose your account one day, or the
Right.
algorithms change. So one of the things we do is we do have a good email list that, and we really for years we didn't faithfully get everyone's data, and that hurts us. That really hurts us.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we have a lot of data. I'm glad we have a lot of people on our email newsletter list, but because I can still communicate to my customers,
Right. You can do
but
those
it's really
newsletters.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important to make sure you have access to your client.
Yes, yes, and not I think so many startups and so many young businesses rely and like I said, Facebook and Instagram, my two number one leads to our business,
Yeah,
but they may not be there tomorrow, just like what happened with you. It happens
that's
all
right.
the time. There's
Yeah,
hackers, their business model could change, and if we don't have a CRM or some other way that we're managing that data to get it out, we're really hurting ourselves. So
that's right.
good that you're doing that.
Yeah, thank you.
And so we've got your Instagram and your Facebook. What's your URL? What's your website?
It's just goodwoodnashville.com, very simple, and carpenter.com.
EW
So
Carpenter. All right.
yes,
So if you want a great local wood table or other wood product made in the Nashville area, check them out. So
thank you, Jennifer.
all right. You're very welcome. It's been great having you on the show. Everybody, thank you so much for listening again to another episode of the Woodpreneur Podcast. New episodes drop every Thursday and can be listened wherever you listen or watch podcasts. So like, subscribe, and follow. Thank you so much.